is scary stories. It always has been. I wrote, illustrated, and bound my first novel when I was like 7 years old. So I knew I always wanted to tell stories. I just didn't know what that meant, you know, as a child. If that meant I was going to make movies, or I was going to write books, or I was going to write a magazine. And I'm, you know, delighted and very happy to say that I've been able to do all three. Well, I come from a background in visual effects. Actually, I worked at CBC Television for 5 years, so I sort of, you know, have been learning about film and television production from the inside that way. But I took a detour for 5 years, and I became a magazine editor. And I was a magazine editor for 6.5 years at a horror magazine. When I decided I wanted to finally make the leap into filmmaking, my first short film is an ambitious little movie called The Captured Bird, which was executive produced by Guillermo del Toro. Not being afraid to ask for help is important, right? If you don't really know what you're doing, that's okay. Just surround yourself with people who do. Ridley Scott's Blade Runner is the film that made me realize that cinema was art. If I could be any monster in the world, I would be the Thing. Because the Thing can be anyone at any time and any place. There is a sense of, you know, feeling different, and I think that's something that all women feel in their DNA as they struggle to shatter the glass ceiling. For example, being a mother, it's difficult to balance family. So I just come up with creative solutions. You know, I breastfed on set, or I bring my family with me when I work. It's hard enough to get people to take you seriously as a woman. It's even more difficult when you look the way that I do. There are women emerging that are telling different stories. They're not content with these tropes. It's like Gillian Flynn. She's an author that I love because she's sort of embracing the idea that that women aren't inherently good, that we're not all meant to be mothers, or the gentle heroine, or even the final girl in a horror film is a trope. As a filmmaker myself, the characters that I'm writing, the characters that I'm interested in telling stories about, are representative of the complex creatures that us women are. As a filmmaker, one of my personal heroes is TAWC-kie. One of the first filmmakers to experiment with narrative filmmaking, one of the first filmmakers to use sync sound. I think she made over 1,000 films, and she's largely forgotten by history. She became a studio mogul. A lot of her work was either lost or attributed to other people, mostly men, and the stuff that remains is absolutely astonishing. H.P. Lovecraft said it best when he said the oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear. And it's rooted in the fear of the unknown. You know, we fear that which we don't understand. And ever since we've been, you know, huddled around campfires, we've been telling stories about the dark and what lives inside it. So I always say that, you know, telling horror stories and reading horror stories, watching horror movies is probably one of the most normal and natural things a person can do.